Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am giddy for today's video because we are going to be starting some fall decorating. Today we're going to be starting in our living room. I cleared out the whole entire space and I actually laid out all of my fall decor. We really have a lot to work with. We have lots of florals. We have so many cozy touches like lanterns. I have so many ideas for this space and I am just so excited to share it with you. If you missed my other fall videos for this year, we did a little bit of shopping, some decluttering, and also some DIYs that I made specifically for this space that I'll be talking a little bit about throughout this video. So that whole entire playlist will be linked down below if you want to catch up with all of that content. But I am just so excited to decorate this room because fall is just one of my favorite seasons. It's one of my favorite seasons to decorate for in particular. I'm just so ready to bring in all the warm tones and just make it super cozy for autumn. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So the first part of the space that we're going to be decorating together is this corner and also this wall. This is a very big focal point when you walk into this room because of the high ceilings as well as this gallery wall. Now I already made a couple changes to this. As you can see, there are some autumnal moody landscape prints. I actually purchased these off of Etsy last year and just printed them at Walgreens. I feel like it really sets the mood for a very calming, serene feel. When I was looking through the bins, I was missing one. I'm supposed to have 9, but I only have 8. I'm hoping as we decorate together, we're actually going to find it, but if we don't, I do need to place another order to Walgreens in the next couple of weeks, so I'll just add it on to that order. But because this space is such a focal point, I really wanted to make a big impact. I really want to draw your eye to this space. I also have a really fun idea with a bunch of pumpkins, maybe some candlesticks, books, doilies. I really have a fun idea for this area of the cabinet that I really think is going to tie in so well with the rest of this wall and also just set the tone for the rest of the room. Really give us lots of inspiration for that. And while we're decorating, I am going to clean just a little bit. I'm just going to use some surface spray. I don't have the fall Mrs. Meyer's at the moment, but lavender will do. We will be lighting a fall candle in just a second here, so it definitely will smell like autumn in just a minute. The main thing I want to utilize in this space are these pumpkins. And now if you don't recognize these, I did make these in my video last week, so you can definitely check that out. I basically just want to make a very whimsical stack of pumpkins. I want to layer books, I want to layer doilies, and just make it look very cozy. And I did remove the beige runner that sort of goes on this cabinet usually. I feel like that really gives us the opportunity to layer a lot, and also these pumpkins will pop a little bit more off of the white. A couple other additions I know I want to use are these. This was my wicker pumpkin from Hobby Lobby. It used to be sort of like a yellow wicker material. It kind of looks black, but it's a very dark brown. I ended up using Kona gel stain on this. I figured it sort of had like that fibrous texture and that it would really absorb the stain well, and it really did. It's not sticky at all. It dried really fast. It looks really, really good. And then I recently went to Goodwill and I found this sort of, I guess you could call it a cake stand technically. I got it for $4.99 and I just love the sort of cottagey feel of this. I love the ruffles and just a plain ceramic white. As soon as I saw this, I knew that one of my pumpkins would fit in here perfectly and really add some good height. And then just to add a little bit of height to this pumpkin, I'm just going to use the top of this candle, so just like a little candle lid. Hopefully that'll just boost it up just a little bit there. And just to finish off this area, I do have some greenery that I want to use to sort of fill in the gaps that are in the pumpkin here. So I just took off a couple of these little stems. I'm hoping it'll just add a little bit of texture and again sort of disguise the little riser that we made. So far I'm pretty happy with this. I might come back to it and just sort of mess with it as the day goes on. But I do want to add something to this side. I'm thinking some sort of floral since we didn't end up putting any in this sort of area. I think maybe we start with this sort of crock here, sort of like an aged look that's brown, and then also maybe these mums could go inside. I like the pop of yellow because it's different from all of the colors we have over here. But I think that these might be a little too similar in tone and also in shape to the pumpkins. I wonder if it'd look okay in this vase. So it's starting to smell like fall, it's starting to look like fall in here, and this corner is just so cozy. This next space is going to be pretty fast. It's just to the right of the last cabinet that we decorated. This area doesn't get a lot of attention just because it's so sort of tucked in. It's just sort of there to fill in some space. We have a really old family picture that we need to update. And then we also have like a whole extended family photo that always lives here. So we're just gonna give this a little bit of a wipe down. And this is also going to serve as a little bit of a backdrop for this sort of reading nook chair area. And that's where we're going to be moving to next. I love decorating this chair and also the side table. So we'll put this over on the right side. And then over to this side, I want to sort of keep it light and bright over in this area. So I have this textured base. I made this in a video quite a while ago, and I love the texture that we were able to make. So this is gonna go to the left here. And then I think I'm gonna add in these dried hydrangeas. I actually got these when I went to an antique store. I was buying a couple other things and she actually gave these to me for free. So I'm thinking that these will add a little bit of texture, a little bit of that fall color. But I also don't want it to be too much that it sort of draws your eye to it. I want your eye to be drawn to that big focal wall that we just did. The only downside about these dried hydrangeas is that they shed a lot. So we'll definitely have to vacuum after all this. And since everything so far is sort of like a golden warm tone, I think I'm going to add this lantern. I also thrifted this from Goodwill a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, and I just painted it black. I think it'll add some nice contrast and also a little bit of a different shape. So over to the chair area, I already made one little change. If you saw my fall decor declutter and haul video, you may have seen this pillowcase. This is from Amazon. I'll have it linked down below. So we already have a nice pop of color to work with. And this really just pops off of this black chair so beautifully. And since we already have a pop of color on our pillow, I wanted to go a little bit more neutral. And so it's sort of like a thistle bush, except they're like almost pine cones. They feel a lot like paper. They are actually very sort of pokey, if that makes sense. They have lots of texture. They also have these sort of olive-like leaves sort of mixed in. So they're so pretty. They're very whimsical, and I think they're gonna look very pretty on this table. And then to put them in, I have this big jug here. This is another thing that I showed in my declutter and haul video. I got this for like $12 at an antique store. Since the sticker isn't coming off very easily, we're just gonna face it towards the back and I'll work on it a little bit later. But I usually like to have something a little bit tall to sort of fill in the space in front of the window. And these stems are just gonna look so good in there. And then next to this area, I want to keep it pretty simple. I have this fall sort of landscape painting that my great grandma actually made. And then I think I also want to layer in this candle. I'm not a big fan of the label, so I'm just gonna turn it around. That way we have just a small pop of that burnt orange, and these just coordinate so well together. Next up on the list are these open shelves that are above our couch. We DIY'd these quite a few years back with some things that we got from the hardware store, and then I just stained these pieces of wood to put on top. With shelf styling, it's so fun, but I feel like there's so many different things that you can do, so it can be really hard to figure out exactly what you like. So you just sort of have to play around with it. I think I want to use this print. This is part of the prints that I purchased off of Etsy. This one just had a barn, so I thought it was just a little bit separate from the more landscape paintings here. But usually I like to put this frame right here. And this frame is also thrifted. I think it's so beautiful. When I picked up these stems from Hobby Lobby, I automatically thought of this vase. I love the shape of it, and I feel like it's gonna look so pretty with these just sort of styled in the middle. Like, it needs to be just a little bit, but that's so cute. I love these stems. These are actually over in the, I think it's the wedding floral section technically. So they do go on sale every once in a while, and I have 6 of these stems. So they're a little bit smaller, but they're like $1.49 a stem. And I just think this is gonna be adorable next to our print. That burgundy is just, oh, it's so stunning. As I figured, these shelves definitely gave me a run for my money. I had to really play with it a lot. I didn't even show all of it just because I moved things around so much, but this is what we ended up with. I love this little group of 3 right here. We have the picture, the candlestick for a little bit of height, and then these beautiful florals. I love these so much. Over here I made this little swap. I put these pine cones here instead of the candle. I feel like the bright yellow just really wasn't going with it, and I just liked the more smaller pops that we have around the room. And then up here is where I struggled the most for sure. I love this photo. I love this whole frame, and I really liked this arrangement. I really like the glass. It's just something a little bit different that we don't have around here. Right here is where I was struggling. I ended up going with this little bird on a book. I know it's not fall, but I wasn't liking any of the candles there, and this is just what looks the best in my personal opinion. But yeah, overall I feel like it definitely goes with the rest of the room. It definitely screams fall, and I think we can finally move on to the couch here. There's really not a lot that I'm going to be changing in this area, but I do have like a pillowcase that I think I want to implement in here somehow. In this area we definitely have a lot of brown going on, and I definitely think that this pillowcase could work. The plaid definitely screams fall, but between the shelves and all of the different like wicker tones and different textures, I think there's just a little bit too much. So I want to take this cover off and put this one on instead. It's sort of like a burnt orange velvet textured pillowcase. It looks a little bit more red on camera for some reason. It's kind of borderline brown, but it's definitely orange, and I just think this is really going to simplify all the different textures we have going on here. Again, add in a little bit of color and also get rid of some of the brown that we have going on. And also, if you're interested in how I make any of these pillowcases, pretty much all of them are homemade. Well, I take that back. This one is from Target. The back one I made, and then these are just pillow covers that I got off of Amazon. But I would say probably about half of my pillows or half of my pillow covers are homemade. But if you're curious in how I make those, I actually did a little bit of a tutorial in my last DIY video because I had another pillowcase that I needed to make for that. And it's super easy once you do it a couple times. It's incredibly simple. And if you guys watched that declutter video, it was actually funny because I completely forgot that I had these. And then this can just go right here. For our media center, I do have a little bit of a plan. I have this white picture. I have no idea where it came from. It was probably just like a wedding gift for my parents, if I'm being honest. And then we have this faux eucalyptus bundle. I got this from Target last year. So I usually will put a floral over on this left side. So I think this is where this will go, and the white really pops off of this cabinet. Underneath it and sort of beside it, I'm just going to add this doily. It has lots of different detail on here. I think either an aunt or my grandma or something made this, so we've had this for quite a while. And I just sort of want to use it as a foundation for what I'm going to do next, and just add in a little bit of that layered texture. And then next I'm going to add these boxes. I found these at Goodwill. There's actually a third one, but I think they're so pretty. They're just sort of those storage boxes, except these are wicker and they sort of nest inside of each other. But I think it'd be fun just to sort of add that. Adds a little bit of contrast, but also the warmth that we're looking for. So far I'm liking how that's looking, but I kind of want to come back to it and just see what this side ends up being, and then we can sort of balance them out. For over here, I want to grab a stack of books. I just have my Made for Living book and then just a magazine. I'm starting to run out of books, which is why I'm always on the lookout for them. I want to create a little bit of height. I have another doily, but it might be... yeah, that's too much. We don't need to. And I want to incorporate this dough bowl somehow, and also these acorns. Let me show you what they look like. But they essentially have this sort of sandstone base, and then they have like a wooden top. I have 3 of them. I actually found these during the holidays. I think it was TJ Maxx, and I actually use these for Christmas, but I feel like they just go really well with the fall decor because I've also been using pine cones. So somehow we're going to incorporate it into this bowl. is feeling so cozy in here. I'll tell you what, I started decorating at 8:30 and it's like 11:45 right now, so it's been like 3 hours straight of decorating, but there are a few changes that I wanted to share with you guys. First of all, I did add a little bit of a throw to this ottoman. I just wanted to add something there just to give it a little bit of texture. I mean, because it's cozy season, it just fits. It works so well, and it just adds a little bit of something to that ottoman. And you may notice just a couple changes on this wall. When I went downstairs to actually bring down some of my all year round neutral decor, I actually did end up finding that fall print. So I did replace that. So now everything matches. And then I also did switch out this vase. For some reason, that tall vase was just sort of throwing me off. I really wanted to use something with a little bit more warmth over here. So ended up going for that. And then I also added my brass candle snuffer just as a little bit of an accent. I didn't end up changing anything over here. This whole area is pretty much the same, except I did end up switching out this pillow for one of those pillow covers. It really doesn't fit the chair perfectly, but I did need to just bring some of the orange from that side of the room to this side, and it definitely does that. That is going to wrap up today's fall living room decorate with me. It was so cozy. This whole entire room just turned out so cozy and warm for the new season. I hope you guys got a bunch of ideas for your own homes. A lot of this stuff I already had on hand. If you guys watched my haul and declutter video, I really didn't want to buy a lot this year, and I feel like it is the perfect amount for this space. In the comments below, let me know what your favorite part was of this whole entire space. Is there just a certain spot in this space where you're like, yes, that is cozy? I would definitely do that in my own space. Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you made it to the end of the video, I'm gonna let you in on a little bit of a secret. Next week, we're going to be doing the finale of our bathroom makeover. So we're going to be doing the accent wall, the gallery wall, as well as all of the styling, the finishing touches, and just pulling the whole entire room together. So if you made it to the end of the video, you get to know that for next week, and make sure that you stay tuned. Anyway, thank you guys so much for spending some time with me on my channel today. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye, you guys.